is like no like under
like
70.
117. I mean, no. That was me trying to half that number. Ignore that.
117 is not half of
It's
120.
not. It really isn't.
Not. I know that 138 is 69 proof, so it'll be like what? Oh, I can't do maths. So
No, yeah.
It's an amount anyway. So Hello, Jen.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good.
Awesome. I'm ready to drink some whiskey this evening.
Me too. I'm very excited about this one because I love a wee bourbon.
I always say I'm trying to get into bourbons, and it's like endless list of things that I'm trying to get into.
Same.
So this one here is Michters, #1 bourbon. Michters, I think we're having a debate about how to pronounce that for a long time. So yeah, balled at 45.7% alcohol, and they're pretty small batch actually. Like a lot of distilleries say that they're small batch. I think where they make their bourbon is quite an industrial scale. I think they only do batches of 20 barrels at a time, which is pretty small batch.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And they're also quite unusual in that they water down their whiskey slightly more before they put it in a cask than a lot of other distilleries will do. So obviously between your Scotch whiskies and your American whiskies, and there's different rules about legislation about what you can do and what you can't do. In America, they do stipulate, and they changed it quite recently, that you can't bottle or put your whiskey in the cask at any higher than 125 proof. So they raised that from 110. So what Michters do is that their alcohol will be distilled to around 138 proof, and then they'll water it down to, which is about 69%, which then they'll water down to 103 proof, which is about 51.5% alcohol before they put it in the cask, which is not in a time efficient process or a space efficient process or a cost efficient process, but they do it because they believe that it gives it a kind of more flavorful and more viscous dram by the end of it.
Yeah, I suppose as well. I mean, I don't know, where are they in the States?
So they use a distillery in Kentucky. They were originally opened in Pennsylvania, and I think they operated across a few sites, but they're in Kentucky now for sure.
I was just thinking about where they are and like what the climate is. So yeah, that will probably be different from here because of the maturation as well, being hotter.
Well, I think they actually also try to heat up some of where they're like I've watched some stuff on them. They're really cool. I think they've got the ability to change the temperature and the air pressure in their distillery to try and help with the casks and the spirit. I'm pretty sure anyway. That's
really high tech.
Listen to some stuff. So it's really, really cool. Like it looks very high tech when you look at when they're in filming it. And I'm pretty sure that it's a company that maybe will distill other alcohols for some other companies maybe as well. I think anyway. So yeah. And just
unusual.
As it's meant to be. Oh, it smells amazing. It's like marshmallows covered in
ice cream. It smells like ice cream.
Oh wow.
Mr. Whippy.
It does have a wee chocolatey smell in it for me as
well.
That's the flake. That's the flake. Oh wow, yeah, no, totally Mr. Whippy now with that.
And the cone as well, the wafer cone. That's like an entire 99 in that dram.
I was trying to find out what exactly like the mash bill for this was, like what the grains they've used. Oh, Slange.
Sorry, I'm desperate to try it.
No, I know. So you try, I'll continue nattering for it. Obviously you need to be at least 51% corn or maize to be a bourbon. This one they don't specify either, but I was just looking online to see what people thought and what we think. Anyway, the verdict is about 79% corn, so it is quite corn heavy, about 11% rye and about 10% malt.
I don't know why the term corn heavy makes me laugh.
I don't know either.
It just sounds funny because like corn's not that heavy. I mean, the corn that I know, like on corn on the cob.
I mean, maybe if you're a bit of barley, you think corn is actually very
It
heavy.
probably is, yeah. If you're a bit of barley, corn would be quite large and chunky.
You're sugary, starchy bastard. I don't know how you you. That would be a thick grain compared to the barley.
It would. Thick grains are in
Thick
this
grains.
year.
It does smell thick.
Mm. It has a really thick mouthfeel to it as well. That's lovely.
That's not nearly as sweet as I was expecting, or the initial flavour is not at all. And then it does get sweeter and sweeter over time.
That's like a really nice classic bourbon. Like if I want a bourbon, if I'm in the mood for a bourbon, that's like perfect.
And it's got a good amount of kind of like woody spice to it as well.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's got that slightly like thinner, slightly metallic finish.
Mm-hmm.
I do have here, I'm already a fan of Michters. Am I? I mean, I am, but it's right there.
Which
We've
one
got the
has
rye.
How's that?
It's really, really nice. Really good.
Oh, it didn't do the...
Oh, I think it's just not coming across on here, actually. No, that's really, really nice, that one. That was the one that we were having when I burnt my mitten on the fire.
Oh, damn it. Worth it, though. Or
Worth
maybe
it,
not.
totally worth it. It's just got that really, like, dry rye, like, leathery, spicy. Yeah, it's lovely. It's got that little kind of cold note now as well.
Got their taste notes. Oh, and actually, also before I tell you their taste notes, cool fact about distillery that's like one of the most interesting facts to me that I've just not mentioned. So Pam, who is their master distiller there, she is the first woman to be a master distiller in a Kentucky distillery since Prohibition. So I think she took over 2000 sometime. You can go watch her talking on their website, and she seems like
cool. I will do.
Yep, really cool, really cool. She goes on about their grain quality for quite a while. That's interesting.
I find that interesting. Yeah.
And so they're. Oh, sorry, no.
Kind of coffee-ish.
Yeah, it gets more like dark.
Mm-hmm.
The smells really changed for me because at first when I started smelling that when I hadn't tasted it was like all sweetness and like where you were saying like Mr. Whippy, marshmallows. And now it's gone a lot more like leathery, like a lot more serious. Like when you get into like hearted conversation and then all of a sudden it takes a serious turn, but you're already committed. Yeah. That's how that feels like with this dram.
Yep. And then as well, I'm still getting the the cherries in syrup that you would have possibly with the vanilla ice cream, the Italian cherries and syrup. It smells a little bit like that.
So their taste notes for this is rich caramel with balanced vanilla, stone fruit notes, smoky depth, and an oaky finish, which I would agree.
Yeah.
Bit more though, maybe, than that.
It's got a bit, like the finish is kind of, it goes thinner and it gets a tiny bit tannic.
Yes, tannic is exactly the word I was thinking.
Like drying at the end, yeah.
That's what I was like not thinking, but like that totally verbalizes how I was feeling it. It's quite tannic.
But it's all like thick and creamy on the start, like the Mr. Whippy ice cream, and then it like tails off into like the thin tannic bit. I feel like I should be drinking this one at a bar somewhere in America out of like the little tiny bourbon glass. That's what I feel like I should be drinking this one. That's like where the taste of this one takes me.
I feel like any bar I could be drinking that. Any bar that can safely open, I'll come.
Yeah.
Any bar. No pressure to open, as in when it's safe and ready. But yes, yeah, I like it when a drink like takes you back to somewhere you've been before, and you're like, I remember having this kind of event. Yeah, really cool. Quite like a complex dram. Quite a lot to it. Smell very different for me than the taste. And I would say that that dram is like getting involved in a light-hearted conversation and then it turning very serious for me. That is. Thank you very much for joining us for more drams. hope to see you soon and hope you were drinking drams too. Oh, my glass.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed our video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Be sure to follow us on social media at The Grail Doon to keep up with our latest news, and check out our website www.thegrail.spot. Slange, and see you next time.
It can be good or bad. Like, how are you? My mum died. Or something, nicer. Like, how are you, Pam? I'm really good. I got a new job and it's very complicated. It involves computers.
Yeah, this dram doesn't taste like somebody's died.
No. But I'm feeling of like, all right, right here. I've got to stand here for a while then.
Yeah.